I don't hear anything. Is it just me?
Oh my god, I had everything.
Oh, you did it this time.
I did
All
it. I did it. I did it. Let's try it one more time. What is going on, guys? I am the Veteran Miner, aka David. We have Vistang, aka GPURisers, Mike. We got a whole bunch of names here. But welcome to the live show tonight. I first want to start off with, today is 9/11, so, just giving remembrance, for those who have passed away on such a tragic day. With that being said, let's get into our podcast tonight. Mike, how are you doing?
Good. Tired. I hear an echo. Not sure where that's coming from, but
It might be from the banana. You got to get the banana closer.
I do have the banana here.
Yes.
My fiance got it for me. Why do I hear an echo? Does anyone hear an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Yeah, everyone's hearing an echo.
Echo. Let's see here. Maybe we can go into settings and put echo cancellation on or something like that. You know why? I'll tell you why, Mike.
Now you're a lot louder.
How does it sound?
But I can't hear myself. Or no, I can still hear myself.
Echo. It shouldn't be echo now. It might be your speakers feeding back into the system, Mike.
No, I think it's good now.
No,
yeah,
I think you need to get earpods.
I don't hear myself anymore.
I still hear you smoking.
Yeah, no, I got my banana. My fiance got me a little banana statue there. So I moved Grogu up there. I have too much crap everywhere. I also have you see the little infinity gauntlet behind me.
Looks great.
Got another proof of useful work rig there. Got one there. I have 3 other Epic boards. If anyone wants Epic boards, let me know. I am selling 3 or 4 H12 SLI or whatever the super micro one is with Epics and 256 gigs of RAM. I kind of consolidated down. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have I had like a whole bunch of 2-card ones. I think I mentioned this before. And then I went to 4-card and then I went to 8. So I have tons of Epic boards left. I am going to keep these 2, I think, these 2 computers. And probably just use the money from the Epic boards and have some of the power supplies down there and just use that for like 4090s or something for these. So that's the plan. Let's see. We got a bunch of people. Oh, Mr. Hawk Crypto's in here. Crypto Craig, Joker Miner, Yusuf, Vinny Del Greco, Bacon Eggs. What is up, everyone? Mr. Yusuf, can you pin these comments? Or
what is the million of them?
Oh, GPURiser, should I tear down my GPU rig and build vast machines? It depends, Yusuf. It depends. I don't have any GPU mining rigs running right now. All of mine are AI on vast. But it depends on your setup, right? Like if you have like an R8 or one of these BTC boards, the crypto mining motherboards, that you're not going to have enough lanes for the cards and you're not going to get rented very well. So it depends on your hardware. But Joker Miner, what's up, man? GPURiser's got 3 more AI rig. What are the specs, Joker Miner? Are you doing like Epic builds and stuff, or Xeons, like something with full lanes? But yeah, I'm all AI right now. It's honestly what's making money. GPU mining is not profitable at the moment. And honestly, for me, I've been so busy with Terra, so busy with like life and everything, that trying to like chase the tail of like what's profitable and what's not is like, it's just too much. Like my rigs end up staying on some coin, like Zell or something like that new miners come out for it. And, and I just have to stay so on top of it that it's just not worth it. And especially with Terra, like we had GPU mining open for a little bit, but then got filled up real quick. So it's like, we kind of have this rule in Terra, like if there's, room for a customer, then we kind of turn our own equipment off. So my equipment was getting turned off a lot. So it kind of just turned into AI stuff because I can keep that in Melbourne. We have a lot of space in Melbourne. It's kind of like our test facility. So it's sitting there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was out in Kansas with the Mining King Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We were out there maintaining the GPU farm, did some work at the ASIC farm. I kind of did like some field audits just for some, operational stuff. And I haven't been out in Kansas in a while. I've been traveling a lot to Missouri, doing that kind of stuff. But King's kind of been handling Kansas for the most part by himself, which is impressive. I mean, that guy's can work, man. He's the hardest working person I think I know. Um, but yeah, we were out there for a while. We have a new guy at Terra. Oh, my camera's going in now. I'm gonna change this Philips hue in a second because these lights are awful. But we have a new guy at Terra. His name's Seth. He helps a lot on the operational side, a lot on the marketing side, more like analytics and data. And so I brought him out there, which was it's always kind of fun. I think showing someone like crypto mining, especially at scale, that doesn't really understand it. You know what I mean? They just see all these computers, all this, especially hot aisles, cold aisles. Like there's just so much to crypto mining at scale that it's always kind of fun showing someone that. But that is what I did over the weekend. I got back Tuesday or yesterday, I guess, at like 3 a.m. Still super tired. I don't think I'm going to be doing a whole lot of traveling anytime soon. Probably going back out to Kansas probably next month to help Jarrett. But that's a week in the life of Vistang, Dave. A
That's
week in the
scoop,
life,
Mr. Travel Man.
yeah. But I know you've been busy, Dave. I know you've had a lot going on. So
a lot of things going on. I mean, I guess so. Dell Technologies contacted me, okay, directly, and they wanted me to make special cables for an attachment, and I was really excited to get the phone call. So we're going back and forth, and they were talking to me of what they needed and specifications, but it's to the point that since my cables, and it's not because of whatever I make the cables, right, guys? So, but since I make the cables, they're in spec, I can actually sell my cables for aviation purposes, right? So like PCIe cables or something like that that needs a connector, I can go to the aviation side and just change the cabling because it's in specifications because I use Molex, pins and American made wire that's right specifications. So with that being said, Dell works with the DoD, Department of Defense, and works with billion-dollar companies as well that work with the Department of Defense. Long story short, my cables are going to a multi-billion-dollar company. I already sent it off, and we're going to see if they're going to need more of them. So that I've been working on that big project. There's another company that works. It's just crazy, like how this is back to back. Working with another company right now that I'm waiting for feedback on their product, but they make desks that go up and down for NASA. So it's not even for like the average They make these major desks that go up and down for NASA, and they're like thousands and thousands of pounds, but they have to elevate, So they need a PCIe cable adapter to, for the plugs to fit correctly. I don't know. This is crazy stuff that's going on right now. And of course, as you can see right there, the new Radiant cable available on GPUcables.com. That's my other website. I made a really nice cable, pretty cool cable, where I put it. So for Radiant, if you guys can see right there, so it's blue. Here, let me just do hold on one second, Mike. I'm gonna change the screen just to solo for 1 second so you can just see the thing. So it's blue and gray, and then I did a blue and gray heat shrink right there, as you can see right there. So that's on GPUcables.com for Radiant. That's all. I mean, pretty cool, right, guys? That's so I made that cable and just working on a lot of things, man. Just a lot of projects here and there. Just moving in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess what I do. And it's funny, when Dell contacted me, it took them 2.5 months to find my company. That's number one. Number two, I'm the only one that can make, and the contract that I'm working with, this billion-dollar company with Dell, they specified they will not take any products that are made overseas. So, of course, I'm the only one that makes these cables in the United States. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
amazing,
I
honestly,
like
Dave. That's like it's sick that you're kind of branching off into the other industries too. You know what I mean? Because there's so many uses for what you do that kind of just only GPU cables or the KSO barrel plugs and everything like that. It's so unique to it, but there's so many use cases out there for custom cabling that like you said, like tables for NASA or like what I mean, or
it's
any of
crazy.
these systems for Dell. It's kind of like they need specialty equipment and stuff like that, and it's hard to find that. Like I don't even know who I would reach out to make me a custom length cable, exactly what I need. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know that there's other companies out there that make like sleeved cables and like you know all this shit from China, but you can make the exact length, and like people forget that like that is so important, in a lot
Yeah.
of these products. And so no, that's awesome.
It's like back to back. It's pretty cool. I mean, I feel blessed, just honored for these companies to call me and contact me.
Yeah.
Um, I guess, there is a need for other things. AI is a big thing. So just to let you guys know, like this, the cable that's going into who knows, man, $500,000 vehicle. Okay. Let's put that in perspective, right? My cable's going to $500,000 vehicle and connected to FPGAs. So, $20,000 FPGAs. So that's the only information I'm allowed to have. There's no NDAs right now until, who knows, I might take this down afterwards. But I mean, that's what it's connected to FPGAs, you know? So it's the compute side when I wanted to, not branch off, just like basically add to the market for AI, right?
Mm,
I mean, they're not doing AI, but it's just the compute power and the need for these cables.
yeah.
It's being proven, back and forth, just like you guys. You guys have a bunch of my cables in your data
Mm,
center, right? So I love it. Um, and I'm just pushing forward, guys. And then if I can do something, and build something for I'm always trying to engineer something, just like that meter that you guys saw 2 weeks ago. That I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna put it on a website and then see do a pre-order just to it's just like it's just a tool, you know. That's all it is. It's just a tool that you can use, and I'm just trying to move in the right direction and trying to offer whatever I can offer for you guys, right? It's like this is like computers, Mike.
mm,
My cable company is like computers. If I can't find a new need or something that someone needs, it kind of starts to stay stagnant if nothing's really going on, right? But then
yeah.
when you have other things that are coming about, like, the radiant, here we go, Ice River, like Ice River is just, who would have known?
Yeah, I mean, who would have
We had
known?
an idea for a
Yeah.
lithium. We all did.
Mhm.
They were like, yeah, I mean, Caspa is going to be, you know, it's almost there already. So what else are you guys gonna do? You're a company, right?
Yeah.
So they're just doing, and now they're getting into, if they don't change what they're doing, they'll die. The company will die. The same thing with my company, right?
Yeah.
It's like if I don't keep on doing something different or adding to the company, it's gonna stay stagnant. And unfortunately, a typical small business, Mike, will fail
Mm.
because of lack of innovation or lack of product. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, you
so
gotta pivot.
You have to. And I have a lot of I guess you would say a lot of avenues that I can work with, that's even just like not thinking I'm gonna make a why would I make a connector? Why the hell would I need a 6-pin PCIe connector for this application?
Mhm.
But these are very versatile pins that are very common. It's a norm.
Yeah.
So, things like that. So I mean I can't be more grateful. So
Yeah.
that's about what's going on, and just making a whole bunch of, I call them the KS0 cables, because that's where that's what they, where they were born as the KS0 cables. So
Mhm.
it's just crazy trying to call them the AL0, KS0, then RXO. Like there's this, it just keeps on going, man.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say the new Ice River, because I mean that's what they're doing. just
Yeah.
making the same exact, and that's pretty ingenious. You got to agree, Mike. The same exact miner, the same exact box, and all they're doing is just taking the chips and say, okay, we'll put these chips in there, and they can read
Yeah,
this.
different board. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
that's the way to do it, right? I guess covering all bases. They probably make a ton of money on the zero models, the at home ones.
Mhm.
But yeah, why not reach the whole supply chain rather than going for like just only heavy duty ASICs, right? I always thought that was really smart that they did that because it was always difficult to get into ASIC mining, from an
Right.
at home miner perspective. Like when I first started mining, it was all just Ethereum, right? That was like the main Raven coin, but the most profitable was Ethereum. And then if you wanted to mine Bitcoin, you had to buy an ASIC. And at the time, they were small. Like the S9 just came out, but still, that was like around 1400 watts. And even a 1400-watt ASIC at home, I was in a townhome at the time, renting it with like some people in college, and like it's brutal to have it in a home. It's so loud. It's screaming. You're trying to run it on 120, but I couldn't imagine having like a big ASIC at that time, like where I would put it other than a garage. But there were just like a lot of barriers of entry to ASIC mining. And I think Ice River did a really good job at being able to bring ASIC mining into your house. There were always, not always, but there were some miners that came out like that were to heat your home type thing. um, but the KSO, I think, was like the first one, and they're doing it with the AL0 or whatever the lithium and radiant ones are. But it's cool that you can do it at like a smaller micro scale. I like that a lot. I wish they had that back in the day. I think the S9s were, what were they, 13 and a half terahash, I think. But if they had one that was like half a terahash, as like a desk one or something that was 60 watts, like I definitely would have got one back in the day. Um, but yeah, no, it's interesting.
It is
Um,
interesting. It's
you know,
it's pretty cool. I mean,
mhm, but
it's nuts, dude. If
yeah,
you really think about it.
yeah, it's been it's been crazy. So, but exciting, exciting. I know you've been busy. Every time I call you, Dave, you're like, I'm at the shop. I'm at the shop.
Yeah, it's just like if
Mhm.
it's not one thing, it's another. It's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
But it's good stuff though. It's just really really busy, and then
Hmm.
I'm in the back of my head. If I have just a couple of minutes, I try to think of something like if I'm doing something, I'm like, what would I want to do?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what would I want? What do I need right now in this world, in crypto or AI or whatever? What can make my life a little bit easier? Is there something that I can make or adapt that would make my life easier? So
Hmm.
since there's, excuse me, not a lot of things going on right now, as we all know. The big craze is the small Ice River, ASICs.
Hmm.
Um, so I've been focusing on, I guess, different colors because it becomes a logistical nightmare. Like I offer so many colors, guys,
Yeah.
and I wish that I could just take $500,000, go buy cable, and just have some people working and just make cables all day long for 6 months straight and have every single color available. That basically it would just be a little bit more fine tuned, and I would be able to go in, have my employees pull out the orders because they're made already, because
Hmm.
I make everything to order. There's days I'll be at the shop, and I'm not exaggerating, for like 12 hours,
Yeah.
you know, because I have to make it to order because of supply.
Yeah.
It's
You
it's
can't
not easy.
pre-make it and then just kind of play fulfillment. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have to make it as you go. It's
And like the sales are so like because I have so much to offer.
mhm,
It's not like, oh, I sell a whole bunch of red ones. Let me make a whole bunch of red ones. And then I'll do that. And I've tried it a couple of times and a different color sells,
mhm,
you know? And it's just like, and then it's okay in time, but inventory, if you guys have owned like a small business and you have to, have a nice amount of inventory in stock, it's very hard. You know, Scalability
yeah.
is difficult sometimes because everything's going up. Like I just got a notice. I'm sure you got the notice too. Like the USPS is going up in
I don't
fees.
use the post office anymore.
It's
I
just
well, I know. I use it for first class actually. Yeah,
it's a
first
nightmare.
class is going up too.
Yeah, it just went up recently.
Hmm.
So hopefully, like, it won't affect the commercial rates that I'm able to get because a lot is depending where you're located, shipping's on me. So
Hmm.
I mean, we'll see. We will
Yeah,
see. But it's kind of annoying, you're trying to just keep up, and it's logistics, man. That's the bottom
yeah,
line. Logistics.
yeah. It is. Mr. Hawk Crypto, GPU riser. Citibank thinks the interest rates will be lowered by 1.5%. Opinions. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how soon that they said. I didn't read that article, but I guess the Fed's expected to cut rates like well into next year. Um, I always talk about banana inflation. I got my banana here.
Mhm.
Um, the prices are kind of coming down on a lot of things, and I know we talk a lot about economics on this, but I think inflation has curbed. But I feel like it's hard for the general public to kind of agree with that because prices are so high. But I think when prices jumped up and there was like this time of hyperinflation, I don't think it was like emphasized how much it actually inflated, right? When you hear like, oh, the inflation, it was like 15% or 20%. Well, homes doubled, bananas more than doubled. Like all these things like went up in cost and they're still there, but they're not climbing from there. You know what I mean? So um I
That
think
kind of
that
makes a lot of sense, right, Mike? With CryptoKid, I just put on there 0.25% in the next
yeah,
3 meetings. That's
yeah,
more
yeah, they'll
average.
probably yeah, they're good. I think they're going to keep cutting. I think that they might
Yeah.
actually it might be a little bit of a surprise. Maybe they'll add a half in one of those, but I think that they'll continue to come down. I mean, it's kind of been dealt with. Inflation has kind of been dealt with, in my opinion. So I think it's time, and especially with the economy where it is now, with housing, with loans, with auto loans. Like, I think that they are going to start coming. Like, they're going to have to do something to get in my opinion, stop a recession from coming on. Um, so it's interesting. The debate was last night, which was, I
Boy.
don't think it was a great debate, but they didn't talk about inflation as much as I wish that they did, and like things that actually matter to us, right? They didn't really talk about that. But I think it's an important thing, and I think with rates being cut, I think that we can avoid a recession. I don't think we're at that point yet, and I feel like it's a lot
Okay.
different than like the '08. I think we talked about that last week, right? Like the
Mhm.
rest of the world is doing a hell of a lot worse than us. So it's not like the dollar is getting like really pounded right now and everything is more expensive worldwide. Like everyone else's currency compared to the dollar is hurting more.
Right.
Um, and especially in high trade countries. So I don't really see a recession coming on, but unless they don't cut rates, you know what I mean? And they add all this other stuff in there. But um, I don't know. I'm optimistic with it. I think they'll cut rates. I think things
Yeah.
will continue to rise, and it'll be more organic over the next couple of years. And I think crypto will definitely be affected by that in a good way. So,
I just want to,
um,
smash that like button. We have 91 people watching. This is the highest number that I've ever had on our podcast, me hosting. I appreciate you guys. We're on X as well as YouTube.
yeah,
Um, so I appreciate the support, guys. We really do. Without you guys commenting and giving us feedback, we wouldn't be doing this. So we really appreciate it, man.
yeah. Benny Del Greco, Crypto Craig. Oh, what's up, Craig? Crypto Frank, sorry. Point five would send a shock through the market and scare folks that terrible data is coming soon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that they're just trying to. I think that they overdid it. They overdid it with rates, and now it's coming back down faster than they thought. So, I agree with you, Craig, right there. I think it's going to be a quarter point, but who knows? Who knows? At least we're heading in the right direction, right? I think that's the biggest thing. So,
That's all we can hope for.
um,
You know,
yeah, yeah. Things are just. It's not that things are too expensive. Like we talk about the rates and stuff like that, but loans are too expensive. It's things are just becoming, and salaries never kind of connected with it. And I could talk for hours about this, but
Well, it's
um,
true though. This is where
yeah.
it's like the new norm is. It's just crazy right now.
Mhm.
I don't know, like the average salary that you're able to live is not making it now. It's not.
Yeah.
It's sad. You know what I mean? Like things have to change, man, for the better. I mean, we're
Yeah.
so high up of crap right now. You know, what comes up must go down. It has to.
Mhm.
We're almost, I think we're at the peak right now, in my opinion. Mike, what do you think? I think we're just at the peak that we just have to come back down, man.
Yeah, and I think it's getting there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, in my opinion, not the biggest, but a big telltale sign of things kind of turning are always cars and car loans and stuff
Right.
like that. It's
Mhm.
especially during COVID, a lot of people just bought cars they can't afford. People have like these astronomical payments on cars. All of them got approved, right? Getting approved for a car is relatively easy. Even if you have a bad credit score, they just up the percentage, right? You're a more
It's
risky
crazy,
lender
dude.
or borrower. I'm sorry, but um, I, s- uh, we've been looking at cars recently, or the past year. I've been looking. My fiance wants to get a car, or traded in for a car, right? So I've been watching the specific model for like a while, and it's things are drastically changing, right? Like going in from a year ago compared to 6 months ago, nothing off sticker. Not only that, but they're selling you on all this garbage, like wheel and tire package or whatever, and
That's the biggest thing.
there's only
It's
one on the
crazy.
lot, so you got to pay it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But um, now I looked for this model. They're offering like 5 grand off and 0% financing. And I think that it like people aren't buying luxuries right now, which is showing that people's wallets are kind of hurting, right? And
Right.
and that's kind of the sign, I think, in my opinion, that things are they're curving. And the only way that you could stop that from a recession, curving into a recession, I think, is by matching the interest rates, making things more affordable for people, since everything else isn't getting cheaper. You can at least make debt more affordable. But I don't know. It's
Hawk saying
interesting.
Hawk saying that he's seeing the 1.9. Yeah, they always advertise once a blue moon the 1.9%, but the thing is that if you didn't know on a fine print, it's only that like 5 percentile.
Mhm.
Okay, your debt to income ratio needs to be extremely low, like nothing. Number one, you need to have pinnacle credit scores, and then you can get that 1.9%.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah, and credit's a big thing, and a lot of people, I think, the credit card debt. I hate the credit card numbers, right? Because they say this is the highest debt it's ever been, but 5 grand of debt now is a lot different than 5 grand of debt 5 years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
So,
yeah,
so but it is at all time highs, people's debt, and being able to have, like I said, less rates on this debt, I think will be easier for people. It definitely be easier for people, but
Crypto Frank, thank you very much for the 999 super chat. 100 viewers. I'm excited for all the car and home response coming up. Stay cash heavy. The deals are going to be rolling in. I agree.
you know.
I do agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think the car repo scene is going to be brutal here. Like I agree 100%. Homes I don't think are that bad.
No,
I
because
know
you needed to qualify the proper way
yeah.
to get the homes. That's why I
Yeah,
don't think that it's going to
yeah.
crash.
We
Cars,
bought a
it's going to
yeah, we
crash
bought a
somewhere,
home
bro.
about 4, or was it 4? No, it's probably like 3 years ago now. And the shit I had to literally pay my iPhone off to get qualified. My iPhone. And so
That's crazy, dude.
it's literally like nuts. Like to get qualified and have like the income to be able to
Yeah.
do it. Like I wasn't like really into this stuff in '08, but you were a broker. Like was it you called it stripper loans, right? Like it
Yeah,
was
like
it was
before
really easy.
2005, it was stripper loans. Basically, if you just showed a little bit of cash in the bank, you got the approval, and
Yeah.
and that shit existed like 580 credit score, 550 credit score. It was disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
I was just like, and then they were arm loans too, right? So you would have
Adjustable
a higher
rate. Yeah.
rate, so adjustable arm for like 3 or 5 years, and everybody's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get rid of this house in 3 years." Well, The
Yeah.
problem was a lot of appraisers were getting blacklisted because they were appraising homes that weren't that value. For instance, the
Mhm.
home value was 100,000, right? But
Yeah.
they were appraising it for 200,000, literally. And the banks were doing it. You know, this is all subprime stuff, not prime.
Mhm.
So the subprime stuff, and basically it was like, oh man, what happened to this appraiser that was doing so good on my loans? Me, I'm talking about me. And I'm like,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, you got blacklisted, bro. And then they're like, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't use them anymore because they're not giving proper values.
Yeah.
So they were inflating the values, and a lot of people got screwed, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of
I
just
didn't
reckless
know.
lending. Yeah.
So I lived in Florida at the time. I don't know the values of homes. That's not my job. I'm not a realtor. I'm not an
Mhm.
appraiser. That's their job to give me the information. And I was looking
Mhm.
online and just like realtor.com, and it's showing you like all the prices of like homes. I'm like, man, I wouldn't buy that piece of shit for 200 grand.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. Meanwhile, no, you shouldn't buy it because it's worth like 100 grand. And
Yeah.
that's what was happening until
Yeah.
basically it just like busted like a bubble, and a lot of stuff went downhill, man.
Yeah. Frank said all these adjustable mortgages, people hoping the rates would drop fast are sweating their asses off right now. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's many out there. I think in at least in the circles I'm in, as soon as rates hit like 4%, a lot of people just backed out. They were like, you know what? No. And they just kind of backed out. They were like,
Yeah,
rates are going to come down. And they didn't, but they never entered the market and did that. But the lending compared to back then is a lot more intense. I think homes are honestly relatively safe. I don't see homes dropping. Maybe like especially in Florida, right? Florida has like all these new builds that are being built everywhere. Like I see a lot of them,
mhm,
especially in Orlando, and the builders start pulling out. And there's issues with those. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to see that now in certain communities. But I think I I don't, but the new builds also offer like really good, rates, and they'll, closing, no closing costs and stuff like that. But these adjustable rates, I think were, I mean, if they are given out at, I don't think it's anything like '08. I don't think it's enough that it would affect all too much,
I think the education is out there, Mike.
yeah.
I think the
I
education
think
is
in
out there.
'08, not many people knew what this was, right? They were just kind of being sold on it.
It
Whereas
was just like,
since then, it's like a
yeah,
fear, like, you
yeah.
know, so,
A lot of
um,
people got smacked in the hand, and it's just that education's key. That's the bottom line,
yeah.
right? It's just
Yeah.
education.
But cars, I mean, people like are, I see people with very high car payments on stuff, and sometimes it's as much as a mortgage. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know how you can do that.
And
I can't agree with that at all. It's
and,
crazy.
and the problem is that the lending for that they just allow. It should be more stringent on that, but
It isn't.
I honestly see it as predatory lending. You know what I mean? Like if you
Mhm.
walk in a dealership and I see all these ads on Instagram. I mean, they're funny Instagram reels and stuff like that, but it's not funny because it's like you don't need to show any income. All you need is a piece of paper with your name, or a piece of mail with your name on it. You know what I mean? And they get people trapped into these payments that are just overbearing. So there's going to be I think a lot of car. I know Frank, you mentioned the cars too. There's going to be a lot of cars I think that are
Yeah.
going to be on the market here.
Yeah, because I mean, a car is a necessity, Mike,
Hmm.
right? In the eyes of like the banks, you need a car
Hmm.
to travel or to work, right? So that's a norm. So they're gonna gouge you. Like if
Yeah.
you make like, if you make $1,000 a month, yeah, you're approved at 18, 19% interest rate or something like that. You know what I mean? First
Yeah.
car buyer, or you have bad credit or something crap like that, right?
Hmm.
So it's just like, I mean, think about it. For instance, a Honda Civic, bro. A Honda Civic is like, what is like $28,000
Yeah.
for a freaking Honda Civic? Listen, I'm a little older than the average Joe right now that's on this podcast, but listen, that's a lot of fucking money. Like back in the
Yeah.
day, you get a Honda Civic Si for $17,000, and I thought that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like this new norm just to get a regular car, like reliable in my opinion. Honda's reliable. That's my opinion.
Mm.
So you know, it's going to cost you close to $30,000. Bro, I had an S2000 for $33,000, but now you're getting a Honda Civic for 28,000.
Mm,
Come on, that's crazy, dude.
yeah.
And this is
Uh,
2005. I had S2000 in 2005.
yeah.
It's not too far off.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
Frogman, my insurance for 2 cars is more than a car payment. Yeah, insurance has gone up just ridiculous. Max, if the interest rates come down, as long as housing prices don't increase, the cost of housing will go down. Yeah, but I mean, usually when interest rates go down, the housing prices will go up because the supply. I mean, just not in every instance, but
It
it's
will.
the economies at scale. Like here, it's
You could
if
finance more.
yeah, but it also it allows people that aren't able to buy a home right now be able to buy a home. It puts them
Right.
into the category of being able to afford it. So
Mhm.
then that decreases supply and raises demand, which inherently just raises the price of the
Here's your
homes, right?
price. Right.
So, mass investors, they lend on cars because they can repo them easy. Yeah, I mean the dealerships just don't care, right? They sell the car when they sell the car.
Right.
Um, so they like I said, it's predatory lending. If someone walks in and they make 50 grand a year and they're trying to buy a $50,000 car, I mean that's and then they work all these different numbers. In my view, that's predatory lending, right? Like you should not be spending
I know.
your salary on a car. But it's people have been doing it. It's crazy. Lots of repos. Um, what's up, Crypto Craig? Loads of people are sitting on the sidelines waiting for the rates to drop to buy. So I don't think prices will come down for housing, and rents never come down. Yeah, yeah. I know there's a lot of people. I have friends that are like waiting on the sidelines, right? Like, oh well, and they don't want to buy right now and then just do a refi, right? Like they're just waiting. And honestly, rent is at least not like apartments and stuff like that, but like
Right.
these like house rentals. I do see that trending down too. The amount of supply is just like crazy, especially these new build communities. Because like
Right.
I said, I'll just use Orlando as an example. In Florida, I was there for like 8 years for school, but um, like you look at like Zillow and you see the for rent, and it's like the whole fucking neighborhood is like for rent. You know what I mean? And it's everyone bought a house. Like
Yeah.
everyone, I feel like this is what happened. Everyone during COVID just watched HGTV, right? And it shows like a couple, and they're like, oh, we want to have a rental property. We want to have a rental property. So everyone just started buying rental properties because the rates were so low, and now everyone's renting these, playing landlord. And now there's just so much supply that they're kind of fighting over it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's a whole bunch of different things happening at once, in my opinion. Um, but Yusuf puts DJ Mine says if Bitcoin goes to $40, he's going to buy 100K and go all in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think you mean 40K or 40,000. If it was at $40, I'd probably do the same thing too.
I mean, I think we all would. I mean, shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 40K though. I mean, imagine.
mhm. Max voltage, but housing prices have already increased a lot already. I don't think they won't go up. This is my opinion. It it depends, right? Like there's
Right.
it's completely situational where you are. You know what I mean? Like especially like in Florida and stuff like that. There's some places that are just like these massive communities where it's like cookie cutter homes. There's just 10,000 of them that they built, right? Those prices are going to be going down, I think. Homes that aren't in these areas, like in more coastal side, are going to continue to go up. It's supply and demand on where you're. It's like everyone in real estate says location, 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 right? It's all about where the home is.
Of course.
Um,
Of course.
and because
You're
you
absolutely
can't
right.
just build new homes, you have to renovate new homes in those areas, but you can't just plop land down, like
Right.
in Orlando again, I'll use and just build a 10,000 home community. Um, so I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a huge crash here, but I do think that it will be situational. I think you'll see some zip codes go up, some go down. And I think that's always the case
It'll
with
all level
housing
out at
anyway.
the end of the day, and then
Yeah.
rinse and repeat. You know what? This is not the first time. It's not the last time. Unfortunately, that rates is just going to go skyrocket again. It's a vicious
Mhm.
cycle. And if you guys don't know that by now, man, just like follow it. It's just like the fucking stock market, man. It goes like this over and over and over again as years go by. And
Yeah.
it's just like that's just a way of life, you know. Try to buy low. I'm at a 2 point something percent interest rate, 2.99, I think, right now on my house.
Yeah.
I wanted to get rid of it in the next couple of years. That's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
It'd be
You're
silly
not.
to
You're
get
not.
rid of the
I'm in the
house.
same boat.
It's just
100%.
like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I was like, I had the 5-year plan. That 5-year plan went out the window when
Yeah.
these rates just got crazy. Yeah, they got
Yeah.
back to like 6-ish. I think they're about 6-ish right now. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments below. I haven't
Mm.
followed it too much, but last time I checked months and months ago, it was like 7-ish for me, right? Because I
Mm.
get like the veteran stuff and all that other stuff. But I was like, man, forget about it. That's stupid. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how much money I got in equity in my home. Why would I play the game?
Exactly. Yeah. No. 100%.
Not worth it. I'm happy right now.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
that, if Mother Nature sneezes on my house and I lose electricity, it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Mm.
It's crazy, dude. What's Max saying over here? Veteran miner, exactly. Rates coming down, there would be a lot more turnover in the market. Yeah. So I mean, it's a vicious cycle, guys. And it's just like in just, crypto's volatile. If you didn't know that, I don't know what you've been
What?
watching.
What are you talking about?
Just saying.
Yeah.
So like he's like, what? So I mean, you gotta take the good with the bad if you want to play this game, guys. I mean, that's my opinion, right? So, it's
Masked
gonna be
investor
okay.
said.
Who?
Oh, sorry, Dave. What did you say?
Who said what?
No, I was just reading. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
Masked investor says housing will come down unless Kamala gets elected. She wants to send the banks 25K per new mortgage. I mean, I read about that and I'm indifferent about it. I'll just sell my house for 25 grand more. You know what I mean? Like, if the government wants to do that, like, it's it is what it is. Techman Ty,
Understand?
housing needs to crash. Nobody
I
can
understand
afford it.
that.
Yeah.
Housing will come down unless Kamala gets elected. She wants to send the banks 25K per new mortgage. I don't understand.
I think it's the hell. It's like a down payment assistance of some sort, where like if you're the first time home buyer, then you'll get 25 grand towards your first home that you buy
Who pays
as
for
a down.
that?
The taxpayers. Yeah, I mean, like it just comes from that. That's why I said like the government spends money like on just the dumbest shit imaginable. But if, in my opinion, if that happened, then I would just rate like I would raise the price of my house if I sold it, because it opens, again, like I said before, it opens the door to new people that are waiting on the sidelines to buy a home. So then there's going to be more scarcity. There's going to be more demand. There's going to be less supply. So then your home's just going to be worth more. You know what I mean? But it doesn't really matter on their end, because if your home's 25K more, they're still only doing 20% of that or whatever rate if they have it do, a
Okay.
PMI type thing.
I get
But
that. Okay.
it's
Oh yeah, PMI, because I'm fortunate. I'm one of the fortunate ones. I don't have to worry about that. But it's a tough market. I feel bad for people like newlyweds and everything like that they want to buy a home right now and it's not feasible. You
mm,
know, it's unfortunate. People save 40, 50, 100 grand to buy their first home, and it really doesn't mean shit right now
yeah,
in this market. It's sad, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's the
yeah,
American dream, right? To have your own home, have a car, maybe get a pool in the backyard one day or something, and just enjoy
mm,
life because you work for
yeah.
it. So
Hawk is saying only
crazy.
for immigrants, GP risers. It's in her plan. I didn't read that part. I didn't read much of her plan. I just only look at memes, only memes and disinformation. That's what I like to absorb. But mass investor, if people can't afford the down payment, they sure as hell can't afford the payment. Honestly, mass investor, I kind of disagree with that. Um, a lot of people are paying rent that's more expensive than what a mortgage is. It's just getting, I mean, think of it like this, right? Like, just say you graduate college, you get a job, or you're on Excel all day and you're making like 60K a year, and you want to buy a home that's 300K. You need 60K to buy the house, right? Let's assume you're not doing like the 5% down thing with PMI and all of that.
Right.
You have to come up with $60,000 and your job makes $60,000. I mean, saving that much money every year to get a down payment is difficult. Life happens, things come up. Like, you want to experience life, you want to do all of this. So there are a lot of people, I think, that are in the situation where they're paying like 2,500 or 3,000 a month in rent, and because they're paying that, they'll never have enough for a 20% down payment on a house. So I don't think the way Kamal is saying, I don't think 25 grand, that's not the best way to do it, right? The best way to do it is to have a lower down payment and have the government subsidize the risk on it, right? Because right now people are getting the 5% loans, and then they have PMI until they hit 20%. That doesn't help any home buyer, right? That just sucks them into basically another car payment, or not a car, but another payment, $300 a month that they're paying as insurance for private mortgage insurance. So I think if the government were to do a plan to help with down payments, it would lower it from 20% down to 5% or 10% for first time home buyers, and subsidize the rates or something like that. You know what I mean? Or give a special, rate to it, for your first mortgage.
What
Just
do you think
handing
what
out
Max
cash.
says about
So,
that? About what
hmm?
you're saying, Mike? What do you think what Max says? Yeah, I've
The
been here.
idea behind the one you linked.
Yeah,
What'd
right
you say,
there.
Max? The idea behind the program, right or wrong, is to incentivize home builders. There's not enough housing, but builders are reluctant to build enough. I don't know. I don't know the actual numbers on it, Max, but um, I see an abundance of homes, like an abundance. Like, when I look at these new builds that they're doing everywhere, like, these are like big communities too. They're building, like, before that one's even finished. Like, there's lots everywhere that are empty. They're waiting for people to come buy the lots. They're already building the development behind it, and I think that is going to, like, just tank the home prices in communities like that, in my opinion. And so I like I see an abundance of supply of homes right now because no one's buying because interest rates are so high, and I think they overbuilt. But I think it's situational on where you are, right? Like, some places just still don't have enough supply. It completely depends where you are in the country. Um, she just wants to give money to the bank. It's not about helping people. It's about giving money to the bank. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't actually read the plan, but it's to help the down payment, right? That's the whole point of it. So, um,
It's one of those
Zarkov,
tomato tomatoes kind of thing. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know enough about it to speak about it, so it's just one of
yeah.
those things. You know,
Royce's Adventures. You can't get approved for a loan on the same value the house you rent. Like, if you rent a 500K house, you can afford the rent and get approved, but the bank won't approve you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are in that situation. I do feel for them. You know what I mean? Because it is hard because, they, using that situation, right? You're in a $500,000 house and you need 100 grand
right?
to buy it, right? Every year you're like putting money away, but every single year home prices are going up percentage wise, probably more than your salary. So you just can't get ahead. You know what I mean? I really think I think first time home buyers need something, like I said, just it would have to be on the like a lower down payment, and that should be subsidized from by the government to some extent. But just handing out money isn't going to fix the issue. It needs to be a little more in depth. GP, what is Yusuf? GPURisers, take your money, move off grid. That's my plan. Hey,
Listen,
I'm with
that's
you
good, man.
100%, 100%,
Dude,
Yusuf.
tell me about it. Like,
Yeah,
doing no bullshit. Right now, I just got a summons to have a car parked in front of my house. Bro, seriously?
a summon. Oh, from the
Yeah,
HOA.
for the HOA.
Oh yeah.
I was like, so I tried to call a number a couple of times last couple of
Mhm.
days. Fucking, it's always off. Phone's always
Yeah.
off. And then I'm like, how do you know if it was the vehicle? I own the vehicle that was in front of my house. Number one, it just says vehicle. Number two, there's no pictures.
Mhm.
Why are you wasting my time sending me letters? Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
HOA, bro. And they're building. They're doing the last edge of like another 200 houses in my community, bro. I'm
Mhm.
just waiting, man. I'm hoping this market takes a turn. So after like that last house being built, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't deal with HOA. I mean, that's fine. They don't really bother anybody. It's just that because they're going to be paving the road soon. So they
Yeah.
want the cars off the road. You know what I mean? But it's just like, leave me alone, bro. I'm not bothering nobody.
Yeah, like I'm convinced if I lived in I don't live in an HOA, but that made in my situation that made the homes more expensive because a lot of homes are HOA here. But as luckily we got a good deal, and I would. But I'm convinced to this day, if I lived in HOA, I'd be in prison right now for arson or something. I don't know, like, like I would not be here. You know what I mean? Like if someone gave me a notice saying that my grass is too long, I would there would be like I would show up on their doorstep with the Declaration of Independence and like a fucking Molotov cocktail. I would go crazy if someone did that. Um, but not saying I would. I don't know what I can say on YouTube, but I would be very unhappy, Dave. I think that's the best way to say it.
I hear you. D. White saying, I own a home remodeling business in North Carolina. Do not advertise, and I'm booked up for at least 6 months, having to turn down jobs. Man, I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah. But
his brother builds in larger homes and stays busy
yeah.
also. Yeah, man. So like the community, D.R. Horton is in my community, right? So
what was it, Dave?
D.R. Horton.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Huge builder, originally from what was it, Texas? And then they're just everywhere, dude. Everywhere. Huge builder. They don't play games or anything like that. It's just like the price is a price. Like when how we had the shortage and like 2x4 was like fucking like $50 or whatever when that was going on like 3 years ago. Well, because they buy everything at the cost before they build everything, they already have that set in stone. There was no problems at all, man. Like when I was shopping for homes, because I sold my house and made a crap ton of money because the market was like crazy in Florida and Cape Coral. Then I moved to North Carolina, and I was like interstate, like towards like the Raleigh area and stuff like that. They were like, "Yeah, you have to put like an extra $50,000 down, but that's not set in stone." I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to sign a contract number one for a home, looking to use a VA loan, but then you still want me to put like $50,000 above appraised value, upside down immediately on a brand new construction, and then you can't guarantee me what the price of the house is. How do you guys do loans? I don't understand."
Yeah.
They're like, "We do it all the time."
Yeah.
Not with this guy. Go F yourself. See you later. It was crazy, dude. It was nuts.
Crypto Craig, there are already loans that handle first-time home buyer. Yeah, FHA and stuff. But I think with those, you still have to pay some kind of private mortgage insurance. Like there's still you get nicked for not putting.
You always have to put the minimum down.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like,
FHA
I don't know. They need to come up with a better plan to make it easier because right now it's just it's not matching up. Like it's too difficult for people. Crazy. I do agree it's too hard, especially for people coming out of school or in their late 20s or to be able to come up with a down payment for something. So if you like instead of just giving them cash, I'm not saying that's the answer, but make it easier to afford the home and be able to get into a healthy mortgage. D White, I own a home remodeling business. Is that what you just read in North Carolina?
Yeah.
I do not advertise and booked up for the last 6 months. I think Max, you said that when people don't move, I think that happened too, right? Like anyone pre-COVID, like just say you bought a home in 2018, right? If you bought a home in 2018, in my area, just say you bought in South Florida, right, in Fort Lauderdale area, your home conservatively is probably worth twice as much as it was in 2018. So I think what people are doing, like Dave, you're not moving, I'm not moving because our interest rates are so low. Yeah. But we have a shit ton of equity in the home. Not saying we do, but I'm saying in 2018, using a 2018 example, we have a shit ton of equity in the home. So you're like, if I'm going to stay here, I might as well remodel it, right? Might as well make it nicer and everything like that. So you're just taking HELOCs out and doing it.
HELOCs aren't too bad right now, but Yusuf saying he lives in Ohio and our cats have been missing. Any ideas? I know what he's referencing to.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dog.
Oh, God. That was funny. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Crypto Craig, GPURisers, for a new home buyer, PMI is better than a huge down payment. PMI goes away after your loan to value ratio goes less than 80%.
Right.
It can be good if your home price is going up, right? Not if it's going down. That could be a huge problem, especially at like buying at the peak right now. Like getting a PMI mortgage right now, I think is an awful idea in some of these like massive overbuilt communities, right? Because then your value of your home is going to go down. You might even be underwater on it if it goes down.
Oh goodness.
That's a big problem too. Is if you take a 5% loan on the house, if it fluctuates down 5%, trends down, then you're underwater on the home. But you may be in that situation. I mean, going from 5% equity in a home to 20% equity in a home, especially with a high interest rate, like 5% plus, it's going to take you like years. You're going to be paying PMI for like 8 years. You know what I mean? Because or set maybe seven, somewhere in there. You'll be paying it for like 7, 8 years because the amortization schedule is going to front load all the depreciation. So, 80% of your payment is going towards interest. It's not like half and half. A lot of people think interest rates are just like, oh, this 6% above, every $100 that you're paying $6 of interest. It's not like
No, that's
that
not
on
how it works.
on loans.
It's front
So your
loaded.
amortization schedule is going to front load that depreciation. It's going to
Yeah.
take you forever to do it. People end up paying PMI for like 7 years. It's
On a
it's
good note.
difficult.
On a good note, Mike. Yeah.
Mm.
That's what you just, when they give you you guys have an option. So pay extra money, have time. Oh, Crypto Frank's here, payment. This is about to say here, one extra payment a year takes 7 years off of your 30-year loan. Well,
Mhm.
depending what the rate is and everything else, but if you want to front load, you want to get to that 80 percentile, any dollar, you know what I mean? We waste money
Mm.
crazily, right? It's just crazy. Like,
Yeah.
go have a latte, you just lost $10. You know what I mean? So it's just like, try to a little something can go a long way because it's going towards you. Think about it.
Mhm.
It's your savings account. Your house is your save. It's a big savings account.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
look at it.
No, 100%.
The
Yeah.
house is like a huge savings account, and then it gains money and equity and everything else. So it's just like if you're looking to stay
Well,
for a
it's
long
like
period
a
of time,
it's
yeah,
like a savings account on steroids, I think,
yeah.
because
Oh my
of
god, yeah,
yeah, because of homestead. You have homestead rights. And so you could file bankruptcy. Lenders can't come after your home. At least in Florida, lenders can't come after your home unless it's a mechanics loan, which is basically, I don't know. This is from a while ago at law school, but a mechanics loan, like if you did home improvement on your home and
you didn't pay
someone
them,
you didn't pay them,
right?
they can put a lien on your home
Yes,
and get it, or
they can only
tax
take.
if you
They
owe
can put a
tax.
lien in your home. They can't take it though, Mike.
Yeah.
So they could put a lien in your home. So when you do sell that home, that lien
Mhm.
automatically gets paid. Has to get paid.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. I mean, like, just say you get in a car crash, right? And you kill someone in the car crash, and you're found guilty, right? And they sue you for millions of dollars. Like they'll take everything, but they
Yeah.
can't take your home. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
it's
so
Florida,
it's
right?
huh?
In Florida.
Yeah, Florida has really strong homestead protections.
Yeah, I don't know in North Carolina. That's why you have insurance policies to cover
Mm,
on the car side. I know it's a little extra, but you guys do your research. Like insurance policies will cover that they can't go after your home. Because
yeah.
you really think about it, if you do a lot of minimums insurance policy, God forbid you get into a car accident, something like that, cars are very, very expensive. A lot of
Mm,
insurance policies won't cover, let's say a $60,000 or $70,000 vehicle. Okay. If it doesn't cover that full amount, you have to take out of your pocket or they could go after you personally. So you guys should do your research on that one too.
mm,
It's just like so much, man, to cover your ass these
mm.
days.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's Crypto Frank. I came from nothing, and one thing that stuck with me is to always pack lunch. I always have a cooler with snacks and drinks. Unless you've been broke before, you don't get what it means to pinch dollars. Yeah.
I don't eat
Yep.
sometimes. I don't really eat
Yeah.
lunchtime. You've been with me, Mike. I'm like, I don't need to eat lunch.
Yeah. But
You know?
when you do eat, it's it's a
Oh
lot.
man, let me tell
Especially if
you.
it's arugula. Especially if they load your sandwich
Ah,
with arugula.
I know you guys are amazed.
Yeah.
You're amazed when I when I get some
Uh,
food in me.
Crypto Craig GPURisers USDA loans do not have PMI and will lend with 0% down payment. I'm not familiar with USDA loans, but if you meet the requirements, I mean, what are the requirements, right? I guess that's the question. I'm not an expert on like economic policy and like economic stimulation, but like it, all I know is that there is a problem right now with people buying homes, and there should be a way to help it, right? I'm not one of those guys where it's like, oh, well, back in my day, it was like I had to walk 10 miles to school. You know what I mean? Like if it's easier for the next generation in any way, I think we should do it, but not easier in a way where it's like you can't be disciplined, right? Like it shouldn't be like that, but it shouldn't be unattainable, right? The American dream shouldn't be unattainable. I think that's the big thing. And
I agree. Yeah.
you know, eh, like yeah, so I can go on forever about it, but I do overall think, and I'm very fortunate that I was able to buy a home. My fiance has a really good job. We were able to get approved and do it, but it was a lot of hard work. You know what I mean, to do
It
it.
is.
And if I didn't, I don't want to say get lucky because I hate saying that, but with crypto mining and crypto and like a mixture of all these different things, like if all of those things didn't happen, which I don't take it for granted because it was a great gift to me and changed my life, right? GPU risers, everything. Um, but that doesn't happen to everyone. You know what I mean? And if I was in a situation, and I was an attorney, right? Like I had a lot of earning potential and everything like that, but like it would have taken me like 10 years to even think, honestly, probably 15 years to even think about buying a home down here. If these chains of events didn't happen.
It's crazy.
And so I do know that not everyone is fortunate like that. So I do think that like it wouldn't hurt to help a little bit. You know what I mean? And in turn, that would help current homeowners, right? It would raise the prices of home. So I think it's a win-win, honestly. But Mike, I see economics here. We got a lot here.
We got a lot
Frogman,
going on. Everybody's
why is
talking
it
to each other
limited?
in the chat too.
Frogman, why is it limited to immigrants? Why does taxpayer need to bankroll that? Um, I honestly don't know enough about it.
Yeah, me either.
I don't. Is it like first gen immigrants or something, or is it like illegal immigrants, or is the ones eating the dogs? That's what I need to know, David. Like, which one's eating the dogs? Let's help everyone but the people eating dogs.
Yeah,
Um,
get him out of here.
Max Voltage. It's a program directed towards first-time homebuyers, but especially first-time homebuyers when parents haven't owned a home. Yeah, I mean they did something like that with
That's crazy.
education, right? I think with college, like if your parents didn't go to college, then like you would get special grants for that. Hawk Crypto Frogman, her economics are awful. Trump wins in a landslide with the Electoral College. She wins the popular vote more than likely. Someone's been looking at Polymarket. Yeah, Polymarket's like 74% Kamala Harris for the popular vote. Mass investor home prices need to come down. That's all it is. But the government doesn't want that because property taxes go down. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't see it going down, right? There's no such thing as like deflation, right? There is, but it's like that's how you get Venezuela. You know what I mean? Is like when a currency, like if you deflate a currency, it becomes unstable. So like inflation is just a natural thing. And in my opinion, I don't think housing is gonna get much cheaper. If there is a correction, I think it's gonna be minimal, and I think it's gonna correct back the other way right away.
I think the correction is going to be rates.
Yeah.
That's good. In my opinion, I'm just saying it's just like I think the rate is going to get corrected, and people are going to have more buying power, and people are going to buy homes.
Mhm.
The ones that were able to wait, because you have a lot of like I see here in my community a lot of active duty. They come and go, man. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So they'll buy. It doesn't matter what the hell the rate is. They're not paying PMI. The government, because their active duty, is paying their mortgage. So it could hurt us. And if they want to sell, they don't care. Whatever it's going for, I don't care. I
Mhm.
just pay money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's gonna be like that could be about every 3 or 4 year turnaround
Mhm.
over here. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever. It is what it is. But I think that rate needs to be corrected. Cars has already been corrected a lot. I've seen a
Yeah,
big difference in
it's
cars,
crazy.
So, but whatever. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
Hawk is saying, "Hey, GPURisers, they're eating animals. It's been confirmed. Tons of independent journalists interviewing. Yeah, a lot of professionals have been out there, Mike. The armchair warriors of Twitter are out there in full force. Um,
Uh,
I'm not saying they're not eating it. All I'm saying is I have seen they call them water chickens down here, Dave. the
What?
water chickens, like the iguanas. People just eat those. You know what I mean? I see people eat it. There's so many. I'm not saying it's happening or not happening. I don't know because I'm not in Springfield, Ohio. I feel like anyone that's not in Springfield, Ohio, doesn't really know, right? Like you get these bullshit police reports. You have no idea what it is. I'm sure there's reports here in Palm Beach about people eating a cat, right, or a dog or something. Like it's crazy. There's a report of a guy eating another dude. Like it's it's crazy. Like
That's
uh
called drugs.
uh Max, Hawk Crypto. It has not been confirmed or accepted by the right wing social media blitz that was put on a few days before the debate. So predictable. Yeah, I mean the right. You have
Oh
the
boy,
right and the left that like release such garbage all the time. Like
all
it's
time.
that. I mean it is funny, right? Like that. You got to look at
I
it like
love
right,
it.
like whether it's true or not.
Just take the
It is
popcorn.
kind of funny. Yeah, I mean
Great.
it's residents are complaining town hall meetings more. Yeah, I mean why like just I guess put your dogs inside, right? Put your cats inside, and then no one will eat it. I mean, it's that's a one way to do it.
Maybe this needs this mass like amount of bananas being dropped in. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, 100%. It's
Like just lack of potassium and they're going cuckoo. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Smash the like,
it's
bros. I really appreciate it. We have 275 people watching. We are live on YouTube and
275.
X. Holy shit. Appreciate you guys.
No, they heard us talking about the cats and dogs getting
That's
eaten.
it. Started getting hungry or something. I don't
Yeah,
fucking know.
that's why I don't know what to believe anymore, Dave. I don't
I don't
know.
know. This life right now is
Yeah,
crazy. That's all I can
yeah.
say. All right.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm really upset, honestly. Like I mean, it's no surprise, right? I lean pretty right. You know, I'm very, economically, I'm Republican. Very, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to business, and like all that kind of stuff.
right.
Socially, I'm a little more liberal. You know, I'm a free thinker, right? Like I hate Fox News as much as I hate CNN. It's the same thing, right? But like, I feel like the older I get, the harder it is to like relate to anything that's going on, right? It just seems like a clown show on both sides. And I don't know which way to go, Dave. I don't know. What I do know is I feel like Trump should have picked Kid Rock as a VP, and I'm really upset that he didn't do that. Kamala Harris just picked a plant, right? Like this guy walk. I don't even know. That's the thing is you go online, everyone's like Tim Walz. We love Tim Walz. And I'm like, who the fuck is Tim Walz? It's just this old dude walking around in a camo hat. Like, I love guns. Vote. It's just like, it's like so it's like a movie. It's like literally like making fun like of politics is like what we're living in, right? Like it's just such a joke. No one knew who the fuck Tim Walz was. No one knew him. And then now he's America's sweetheart grandfather. You know what I mean? Like it's just like what is going on? And then it's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Is we might as well just
World's
have like
nuts.
insane stuff, right? Kid Rock should be VP, I think. Trump would have won in a landslide if or will win in a landslide if they drop JD Vance. Um, it's it's just great. Yeah, we're talking about Springfield's cat eating people. Like it's too
Yep.
much.
Not
Dave.
Korea.
Too much.
Springfield.
It's just it's crazy. Vinny Del Greco, GPURisers, same here. Politics is a distraction. Yeah, like does anyone actually relate to this stuff? I don't know. Like I hate to be harsh on it, but like when I see like these people on Fox News, and like I said, I lean Republican. I've voted Republican in every election, but it's getting harder to. You know what I mean? Like you see all these commentators on Fox News, it's all just it's just shit. Like we're just spoon fed garbage, and
I just think
it's the same on the
all
left.
of it is a lot of crap.
Yeah, it's just
A lot of
divisive.
it's just a
You
lot
know
of
what I
crap in
mean?
general. All right.
Yeah,
Doesn't
and it's
matter
all
what
just
my political views are or not. It's just all this shit is just
yeah.
it.
It's like you look at your phone and you're like,
Um,
okay, who am I supposed to hate? Oh, okay, I hate Palestine this week. You know what I mean? Like I've never been over there. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I don't know what's
yeah.
going on. Like it's just crazy. Like it's both sides, and I feel like it's too much of an
Yeah.
agenda, and there's too much money telling people what to think. Right? In reality, none of us really know. Right? Like, and it's that's what's scary is like who's pulling these strings. You
This is
know?
what politics is about now. This is pretty sad.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all. I
It's
remember
just
when we used to
crazy.
talk about issues. You know what I mean? I remember when issues
Mhm.
were being talked about, and you would have like real debates.
Mhm.
It wasn't like a circus.
Yeah.
It's been a circus
Yeah.
for a while, and it's unfortunate. You
Yeah,
know,
it's crazy. Like, it is kind of funny, but then it gets to the point where it's just like, oh, like,
this
it's
is
just
this is the United States. Like, how does
yeah.
everybody look at us right now?
I don't know,
Being
dude. It's
in, dude, in the United States, like we're fucking strong. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking
not
veteran.
really, not when you see Biden
Well,
up
yeah,
there.
I know. Like I'm
Biden's able to
for my
just he
country.
can barely hold the skin on his face up.
It's fucking
Because
crazy.
yeah, like, and he's the one that they're gonna wake up like, "Hey, Russia launched the nukes." He's gonna just
Ah,
like that's the guy that you have to like. Come on, like it's just. But who's controlling it? Like who's the person that's actually controlling this shit, right? Like we have the right to know. We do as Americans. Is this whole thing? Everyone in Congress, everyone in the whole DC just needs to be. We need a fresh reset of everything. We just need new people. We need people that aren't 85. You know what I mean? Like Ginsburg, like she was on life support and she was writing opinions. You know what I mean? Like who's actually editing these opinions before it gets back? You know what I mean? There's like liaisons between a hospital bed and the Supreme Court. It's like a just a joke.
this is like
Um,
who gets to be president? Geriatrics.com.
yeah,
Here we go.
exactly. It's like they're just gonna be AI. Mitch McConnell is like he's just his head is gonna be in a floating thing, a vat of water, and and he's just gonna be a Mitch McConnell AI talking about shit in 200 years.
I don't know.
Max, Max is saying this
Horrible.
is exactly what Trump wants. He wants everyone to talk about nonsense that affects no one. That is why the social media blitz happened. It's a distraction. I don't think that's what Trump wants, Max, either. I honestly I think it's what they both want. I think both sides don't want to talk about the issues. I think that both they just want power. It's like a power grab, and they know that Americans are just so brain dead at this point, and we're just just watching garbage on our phones all day. You know what I mean? That they're just trying to get the vote, right? Like that's all they're trying to do. I don't think that either side really is. I hate to say it, but I just don't think that they're unrelatable. You know what I mean? They're just they
Yeah.
can't relate anymore to the average American. GPURisers, what's up, Retro Mike?
Retro Mike.
Just in time, Retro Mike. We were talking about eating household animals. GPURisers, I started receiving oil and gas royalty checks this past month for the first time in 18 months. Resumed drilling in Ohio. Not saying my vote could be bought, but saying it ain't saying it can't be. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you actually see it affect you, right? That's when it happens. GPURisers, stay humble, stack sats. Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. It's homebrew crypto. I disagree. Both sides are equally as bad. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
that's what I think. Like I don't know who sits there and watches Fox News and they see what's her name, Lindsey Graham. She's probably my most hated person on the news. Just the way she's so condescending. Like but it's like it's also hard to be a Republican when you have like idiots like that on TV that are like just spewing garbage. You know what I mean? Like I get why. Like if you're a Democrat, right, and you see this shit, and then you hear someone and you're like, you hear someone say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Republican." They just think like you love Lindsey Graham, right? Like you're Jesse Waters. You know what I mean? Like it's like no, like, but the left makes you think that the right is like that, and the right is just as guilty. It makes the left feel that way too. You know what I mean? So that has to be like 5 or 10% of the population. Like it has to. People cannot be that stupid, right? Like it has to be like just the extremists on both sides, right? That are just like watching this stuff and hating each other, and then we're just stuck in the middle. We don't know what to do, Dave. We don't know. But um, but yeah, Hawk, what's up? You're less than 30% of the people in the U.S. trust mainstream media. Less than 30% of mainstream media disinformation is rampant. That's why people have flocked to X and other independent news platforms. X is not an independent news platform, Mike. That's the problem. Is that there's just too much money in politics. It's who buys the ads. There's Russians that are buying influencers. You know what I mean? On both sides, everyone thinks, oh, there's recently the Russians with the buying these right wing influencers or something. The Russians do both sides. Like that's in the communist playbook is to buy both sides. You know what I mean? Not just one. So it's like but you can't have like Meta and all these other companies doing it right in the 2020 elections, 2016 elections, and it's showing a bias, right? On what you can and can't advertise. There's just a lot of problems with it. There's so many problems with it. It's it's too much. But X is I've seen a lot of propaganda on X, right wing propaganda. And I think all the other platforms ban it, but I don't think that that's necessarily right that they ban it. But there has to be something where there just has to be an education standard. I think you know what I mean. That's the biggest thing.
A lot of people are
Um,
just gonna follow the media, unfortunately,
mhm,
and media was made for a lot of bullshit. I mean, let's just get off the topic of the politics right now, right?
mhm,
For instance, weather, the weatherman, they got caught. Some of them have gotten,
mhm.
caught doing a live thing of it's such a bad storm. Meanwhile, the guy is making believe he's fallen because the wind is so crazy just to make the news. But meanwhile,
Yeah,
someone just walked right behind him, nothing.
yeah,
So I mean, I'm just saying, like you know, that's what media is. It's if you can't make it interesting, nobody's gonna watch it.
yeah.
Not going to. Why would you want to watch the news?
I, I don't know. Like it's unbearable. You know what I mean? Like it's just
It's like
unbearable. Like it's not news anymore. It's like they literally have to classify it as entertainment because it's
crazy.
not journalism anymore. You know what I mean? And I
Yes,
just
news
don't.
is entertainment. It's a form of entertainment, and whatever you depict out of that, your that's your thing. You know,
Yeah, like I just
that's it.
it's max voltage GPU risers. You're not wrong, but you know what you're describing, right? Idiocracy. Have you seen the movie a long time ago? Yeah, it's just I don't know what to think. And I was watching. It was I think it wasn't yesterday, but Fox News came on, and I was at a hotel. I was out in Kansas, and I think it was Jesse Waters. Is that Walters? Is it Walters or Waters? One of those. I don't know. It's the guy with the hair that doesn't look as good as mine. He was going on about something like the segment was like something about religion, right? Like
Yeah.
Christianity's under attack, right? Like it's under attack, and like all this spewing all this Christian stuff. And then it goes to a commercial break, and then it goes to this. It wasn't Jesse Walter. It goes from him to a different guy. I can't even remember his name. It's the guy that his eyes are like suspiciously far apart, and he instantly starts talking about like he's just making fun of like these women and calling them basically like pigs on air. And I'm like, how do you go from saying that we need to be a more Christian, group to just making fun of people? Like I don't know how people watch that are like super one way, right? Like, how can you be a good Christian but then make fun of people? You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It just doesn't add up, and it's so stupid that like it's hard not to laugh at, right? But it's
Yeah.
sad because people watch that and they believe it. You know what I mean? And they just get brainwashed, and like it's it's brutal. Hawk Crypto, GPURisers Veteran Miner. Let's stop for a second to recognize men's mental health. I posted a good post on X. Check it out. Very important. I will check it out, Mike. Ben's mental health is important. Politics doesn't make it better, Mike. Because
No, it doesn't. It gives you a rise.
yeah,
It just we gotta this is what we have to do. I think as human beings, we gotta take it day by day and see what happens.
yeah,
Do you vote? Go out and vote. Vote whatever you choose to do, right? But at the end
mhm,
of the day, you know, it'd just be nice if we all come together because listen, we all have different views of like politics, stuff like that. I'm sure of it, right?
mhm,
But at the end of the day, I could be friends with whatever you choose to vote with, whatever the case may be, right? Because we have
yeah,
common interests. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean,
yeah,
Mike and I are very like it's a different situation with Mike and I, but I'm just saying, like, Mike and I are very, very alike. Our views and everything else is like we're like right point on. But I'm just
mhm,
saying, like in general, right? It's just like if we could just get along better in this world, it's gonna be a better fucking place, man.
yeah,
Where I just feel like there's a big division right now, and we just need to come together and just make it, make America. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Like, I'm a veteran. I fought for my country, and I used to be a volunteer firefighter too. I don't know if you knew that, Mike. So
no,
I used to volunteer, and I used to, I went into a worker fire and everything. I was a volunteer firefighter before I joined the military. So I have a lot of things that like I want to try to give back to the community. So it's
mhm,
just like it's just nuts, like this politics stuff or whatever. It's to me personally, it's kind of getting out of hand. But like
yeah,
take it day by day, guys, and I think it's going to be okay. It always,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it always is. Let's be frank.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Guess it doesn't matter who the president is, right? You're still going to wake up the next day and go to work. You're still going to have,
Yeah.
dinner with your family and do all that. So it's like people get so caught up in politics. And I see why, because it's all there is. You go on Reddit, it's all politics. You go on Twitter, it's all politics. And it's just shoved in our face constantly. I think both sides are trying to be divisive, and they want us to be divisive, or divided.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's
And
crazy.
and so
Why?
the only way we can stop it is if we just don't play ball with it, and hopefully
That's
we get
all.
some different candidates. I did like Bobby Kennedy, Robert Kennedy. And I see Max said GPURisers, the people on the far right and far left don't want the middle to vote because they can't predict how they vote. Yeah. I'm not saying like I said earlier, right? Like I've voted Republican every time, and I will vote Republican this election. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't vote Democrat in a different election, right? Like it depends on the time in the country. You know what I mean? It depends if you're at times of war, like at times of war or in times of economic instability. I think a Republican is better. If we're in times of peace and stuff like that, and you need more growth in other areas of the country, I think maybe a Democrat would be better. It all kind of depends where the country is. If you're happy where it's going, I think Biden and Harris, I don't know, Biden probably still would be dead by now, regardless. But if if inflation was under complete control, interest rates were under 4%, and Americans could afford things, I think Kamala would probably win. I think what's going to give it back to Trump is that Trump had a relatively good economy. People were, whether it was good or not, people were able to afford things under a Trump administration. So I think you can't just be one-sided, right? And you shouldn't vote just because you're hearing that you should vote one way. You know what I mean? It's good to free think and stuff like that, and have your own opinions on stuff. Because if you start just agreeing and align with one group on everything, then anything they spoon feed you, you're just gonna start doing that. And I don't know how we got on politics tonight, Dave, but I
I have
guess
no idea, but you know
yeah.
what? It's okay.
Tim
It's
Walz, the American grandfather. Everyone has always loved Tim Walz. You've never heard of Tim Walz? What do you mean? We've he's been around forever.
We'll probably
But
get a close up. We'll close up tonight on a little bit of politics. Not a big deal. We talked about business, right? We talked about business today. Talked about a lot of politics. We're gonna dump bananas in Ohio to make sure that they have the potassium. And
yeah. I saw actually, Dave. While you're talking, I just saw an independent journalist post on Twitter that Tim Walz was eating a dog in Ohio. I saw it. It was on Twitter, Dave. Like I saw it. Brad Johnson. We need to start raising money right now to put Vistang in office in Twitter. Thanks, Brad Johnson. I don't think I'd ever run for politics. I would probably do local politics. I think sometime in my life, like mayor of a city, if I ever moved to a smaller city. But
nice. I want to live in that city.
Yeah, that's what we could do. We could create like a little crypto. I was actually driving around with the new guy that we have on Terra, and we drove to a city in Kansas that had 599 people in the last consensus that lived there.
What the F?
There was one stoplight and one gas station. The gas station didn't have credit cards. It's like the old school gas station. The reason I'm saying that is like that is where I would,
dude. I'm telling you right now, I'm packing. That's the
that is where I would get into local politics.
That's the shit that you die, bro.
Yeah,
that's the shit that like you're like, hey, can I have some get all of a sudden they fucking blow your head off.
Yeah. It's but yeah, no, I'm really far back. Max, did you see? Just rated my hair better than yours. Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, that is what it is. The good thing is we relate on a lot, right? You know what I mean?
Of course.
And that's the most important thing. But it's better to look, I think, at everything going on now as kind of just like a clown show, right? Like at the end of the day, it's not going to really, I think, affect any of us one way or the other, right? Like, and that's what we should kind of focus on is, it
will keep on going. Yeah. We're not going to have a crash or anything like that. Things are going to keep on going just like normal. Yeah. It's just a time frame that, a presidency has to change. That's the way it is. And then moving forward. Well, what's the big deal? We have
Yeah.
292 people, Mike, from X. I'm going to say Twitter, from X and YouTube watching. I appreciate you guys. Smash the like button. Appreciate it.
But well, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much everything on my end, Dave.
That's about
But
it, man. Me too.
but politics will be brought up probably here until December. You know what I mean? Till mid-November. So we'll just
8
we'll
more
go
weeks.
into it with a positive attitude. It's laughter is what cures everything, right?
8 more weeks.
So,
8 more.
yeah.
Then that's it. Forget about it. Good to go. You said your piece, right?
Yeah. Max is GPURisers. I'm the only. This is the last one I'm going to read because I know I'm the only person with this opinion. Presidents have very little effect on the economy and therefore should get no credit, good or bad. I think that they have some effect, but yeah, I mean the president's in charge of the executive branch, right? I mean, like at the end of the day, who do you feel comfortable controlling our armed forces, dealing with NATO, dealing with Putin? You know what I mean? That's a big thing. The economy and stuff is a lot with the legislature. So yeah, no, I agree with you, Max, to some extent.
Yeah.
I just Tampon Tim Walls. I saw him eating a cat. It was an independent journalist on Twitter. I saw it. There's tons of reports. But I know we have a lot of Twitter viewers right now. So if you are on the ground in Springfield, Ohio,
please let us
hide
know.
your cats.
Oh my God.
But
that's so funny.
Yeah. But
anyway, I think we're gonna close up. We've been going on for a little bit over an hour and a half tonight.
yeah.
I appreciate all the viewers. Thank you so much. We'll be on Vistang's channel, GPURisers.com next week.
Yeah.
And we will have bananas.
Tim Walls is coming on too. He's going to be eating a cat. So yeah,
coming on to Mike's channel.
I'll stop. But yeah, next week my channel we'll be talking about probably some familiar stuff and probably some. I'm going to be building this AI rig here soon, so maybe I'll have some stuff to talk about that, Dave. So,
oh, that's cool. All right, yeah.
But all right, well, hope everyone has a good night, and we'll see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys. Later. Be safe. Keep mining and buy some cables. Later. Have a good night.